You're tuning in to the Black Hollywood Live Network, featuring news, interviews, and commentary on all things Black Hollywood. Hollywood redefined. From Los Angeles, California, streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is Black Hollywood Live, This Week. Featuring news and commentary on This Week in Black Hollywood. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood redefined.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host for Black Hollywood Live This Week, Derrial Christon.
Hey, what's up, everybody? You're watching Black Hollywood Live This Week. I am your host, Derrial Christon. Here joining me today is the singing Courtney Stewart over there.
What's up, y'all? I will not articulate
we want to hear you sing those vocals. We got Whitney Houston playing behind us.
Okay, that's Whitney. You don't sing to that.
I'm your baby tonight.
You sing to that in your car or in the shower where can't nobody hear you, but you don't do it in public. No. Hello, y'all.
Also joining us today is Nathan Hale Williams. And Rachel True.
Oh, you forgot to say the rhythmless Rachel True.
I don't believe that.
Thank you, and you're welcome.
You both are back by popular demand. We've had both of you on in the last couple of weeks, and let me tell you something. Fans were feeling y'all, right? So we had to bring y'all back together, too.
Yes.
Jesse Genevieve is not here with us today, but he will be back next week as well. But we are happy to have you two here.
Welcome back.
Thank you for having me
with
back.
us.
I had so much fun with you guys the last time that it just feels really sweet and awesome to be here and to meet such great people.
Oh my God, when you walked in the door, I was like, oh my God. I love her.
She's amazing.
Just amazing energy. So thank you
much.
to have me on with you. It's like, oh.
No, we're excited. We're excited about the show today. We got a lot of topics, including Lamar Odom updates.
Yes.
We have the controversy over the Ebony cover with the Huxtables. We have Eddie Murphy, who says he's returning back to the stage. And a secret Malcom X letter has revealed his cure to racism. But first, I want to talk about the buzzer meter question for today, which is, was Ebony magazine wrong for the Bill Cosby cover, which we'll talk about a little bit more. We're going to go a little bit off course for a second because we brought up a subject before the show started that we want you guys to talk about as well. Tweet us.
Because Rachel walks in the door.
I brought it up because I'm a northern girl and I don't know a lot of expressions that are really common among southern people. And so I asked, what is the difference? What is a red bone?
What does a red bone mean? And we all had our own kind of explanation for it.
What's
The truth is, none of us really knew.
Right. We had to go to Wikipedia and Urban Dictionary.
We know how it was used when we were growing up.
But what's the difference between like red bone and high yellow and I don't know.
See, red bone and high yellow to me, well, I've always been taught it's the same thing. It's like someone who is light skinned, but it's like a difference. Like Halle Berry wouldn't be considered red bone, but Tisha Campbell is considered red bone.
Tisha Campbell is a fabulous, amazing woman who is a taupe. That is her bone.
She is a taupe. She is
And my sister is the exact same color, so I feel like I have a right to say this.
Well, you know, I've been called both. I've been called red
you're
bone,
borderline.
high yellow. Well, this is I have a eternal perennial tan.
You're like medium yellow right now.
So I don't know the difference. And I also was called piss color too. When
Who called you that?
They're just the evil children. Evil children. But you
Wow.
know, I was telling Rachel when I was yeah.
And they called you piss
They called me piss colored.
Doesn't piss have more of a green?
What?
Well, you know, this was during the light.
Oh, maybe not.
You know,
maybe that's what I ate. Sorry, or drank that day. Sorry. Maybe too much reveal about my body.
Derrial.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't be revealing that.
Or smoking that, whatever that was.
Listen. No comment.
But yeah, they called me that when they were teasing me, they would do that. It didn't bother me. But I was telling Rachel that, you know, when LA Law was on and Blair Underwood was on, I used to like pray to God. I was like, please make me that dark. Please make me that dark. Because I just thought his skin was so beautiful. And I think it's interesting to talk about because, you know, there's always a conversation about people saying, you know, people want to be light skinned. But I was a light skinned brother wanted to be dark skinned because dark skin, and then Tyson Beckford came along and changed the game.
Tyson changed, but who really changed was Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan and Wesley Snipes were the two who changed it even before I think that Tyson did. Tyson just shit on everybody with it, you know what I mean? But those two, it became a little bit different because growing up, it's like everybody wanted the Christopher Williams, they wanted the Albie Shores, they wanted the Devontae from Jodeci. You know what I mean? I knew that would excite you, Courtney. I knew I was gonna get a smile over there on that one.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and then it's like all of a sudden, then the Chocolate Brothers, and we still in right now, but you know.
Light skin is still in too.
I think it's 50-50 equal.
individuality that is in.
That's right. But wait, let's
so we
see.
got
I want to
definition.
know.
Okay, so we got
I'm
two.
still waiting to find out the difference.
We have two different versions. We're going to read the urban version
currently,
first.
the Urban Dictionary is using it. It's basically saying that it is pretty interchangeable in terms of Redbone and high yellow at this point in time, but it didn't used to be the case. But right now, the current definition for a Redbone, Ms. Rachel, it applied to you. You came in the door. It is a fine, thick, light-skinned girl. And to use that in a sentence, just in case your definition didn't work for you, the sentence goes as follows: I'ma get me some red bones tonight.
Lord, what would we do without the Urban Dictionary?
All right.
And your definition over here
So this is from Wikipedia. All right, it says, in Louisiana, the Redbone cultural group consists mainly of the families of migrants to the state from South Carolina following the Louisiana Purchase in 1803. It says the term Redbone became disfavored as it was a nickname applied by others to describe Creole groups, including the Louisiana Redbones.
Okay, I like your definition.
That's way more boring.
Yeah,
Wikipedia.
Very
step that up a
erudite.
little bit.
Yeah.
Very boring.
Yeah.
That's very boring.
Some red bones and neck bones.
Right.
And
But do
rice.
people still use Redbone? I don't know if I hear it as much. Do they? Courtney does.
In the South.
like
In the
the
South.
South,
You're
right.
right.
In the South.
Yeah, you know what? You're
In the
right.
South.
Because someone
My
called
family
me
still does.
Redbone, and my stepmother, who's from North Carolina, said, "You are not Redbone. You are not the." And I think she's right. I'm pretty medium brown, so
Yeah,
I'm
you're
not a
like
Redbone.
caramel complected.
I will
Right.
take that, sir.
Yeah.
And you know, Chicago is very southern in the north. It's
Yes.
Mississippi North.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so they still use it in Chicago from where I'm from. Because people, when I went to school in the East Coast, they used to say, well, where in the South are you from? I'm like, Chicago.
Yeah.
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 I learned that by going to school in Chicago because everybody's like, "Oh, you from Georgia? You from the South?" I'm like, "Y'all more southern than some of the people
We are
I met in
country.
Atlanta. Y'all country is."
We are country and we like it.
Yes,
I
that's very
found
true.
what's interesting for me being a northern girl, and my family's been in the north forever, that a lot of people define blackness by whether I had a patois that was from the south. And I was like, I don't have a southern accent because I'm not from there. Does
Right.
it not make me black? You know,
Yeah.
because I don't have the same speech patterns. And have you guys ever encountered that?
Listen, I got bullied for being, you know,
bullied?
Who am I sitting
I
next
did
to?
because of
Yeah.
my speech, because I always talk proper, because my
You
cousins
always
who grew
talk proper. You always spoke proper.
right. Listen, that's the
Well,
champagne.
that's
That's the champagne talking.
been in BHL
That's my two sides. My bougie side and my hood side trying to fight.
But that was my comeback. People used to criticize me. They said, you talk so proper. I was like, it's actually properly. Yeah, right.
Well, see, you know, it's funny. I found myself trying to go against it so much because I used to get
Speak
teased from my
properly.
cousins.
Speak properly, darling.
Yeah,
Your cousins
my
have
cousins,
to?
my cousins, because I kind of grew up in the all white neighborhood, and then my cousins grew up in the black neighborhood. So when I would go over to their house, they would make fun of me because they're like, "Oh, Mr. Proper's in here," you know. So
that's
I
sad.
tried to actually downplay it a little bit more and street it up a little bit, you know. And so, but now it's funny. My same cousins who used to tease me are always like, "Man, we wish that we had had done it differently."
Exactly.
But growing up, I hated it.
I feel your
you know,
pain on that though, because I felt like because I grew up in the neighborhood I did, which was not my choice.
Right, yeah,
I had
yes.
zero
Just
choice.
like your
I was
name,
five
Raven
and-
Simone,
I was five
is not your
actually.
choice. Where you grow up.
Yeah.
That's true.
I was like
That's
5
true.
to 15. I had no choice. I had no money to make my own decisions.
No,
Yeah.
you know what? We discussed Raven when I was here a couple weeks ago, and I actually cut her a little slack because I've known her since she was a kid, and I love Raven. But it's true. It was not. It was a very millennial thing to
Yeah.
say.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
You don't get to
No
choose your
labels.
name where you
Yeah.
grow
Your
up, what
name,
church
where
you
you
go
grow
to
up.
when you're a kid. Like those are things that you are forced into, and
Right.
you have to learn how to grow into that. And
But I think she's she's apologized.
oh no, she got it now.
I think she has.
Black Twitter again.
Well,
She got
I don't know if she got it. I think she
mean,
was forced to
might
get it.
receive
Yeah,
it.
she received it.
That it exists.
She might get that paycheck to get
She's
it.
a very smart girl, and I'm hoping I agree to disagree with her statement.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
But I do really have a lot of love for her, and I hope that she got it.
She's entertaining.
Yeah, I interviewed her for my book, Inspiration, and she was lovely, and I had a great time with her. I think
Fabulous
she's.
girl.
But you know, when you live in a sheltered environment like that, you don't go through the "Are you Redbone?" You talk proper. You know, you don't have to go through all that. And I think those experiences make Black people the best code switchers there are, because you have to go from the hood to your classroom to a corporate environment, and other
True.
other
True.
races and cultures don't have to do that
Right.
like we do. But we have to survive in all these these different,
Absolutely.
Yes.
communities
true.
and cultures. But I think it's a good thing.
And we're
I
so
like
judged by it too,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But
that's
again,
true.
we're judging ourselves. Like you brought up School Days earlier when we were sitting outside, which is a great movie, and everyone should
Check it
watch
out
that
again.
again and again. And if you're young and you haven't seen it, check it out because a lot of the issues are still really valid. But that was us on us, and
Yeah.
I just live for the day when maybe we're more supportive of each other, which is kind of why it's great to be just back here on your show because I love what you guys are doing.
Oh well, thank you.
You're
Cheers to
Way to
that.
segue.
Way to segue. Good segue. We got a job here for you at Black Hollywood
Rachel
Live.
True is the truth. She's the truth.
Rachel True is the truth.
I
She's the
really
truth.
meant
She's the
it
truth.
though. I totally meant it.
No, I know.
You guys.
That makes
it was
me happy.
genuine.
That
It
makes
was,
me
it was a
happy.
great segue, though.
It was. So today we're going to do something a little bit different too. We normally break it out in like trending to gossip to hot topics, but
We just gonna
so
talk about
we're just going to
some
talk about topics today. We're just going to go
We're
into
gonna talk
topics.
about some
So Courtney's going to start us off today.
Okay, yeah, so we're going to update you guys because we got to keep it a little gossip going on. Mr. Lamar Odom. He's doing better, guys. He's back in LA. He's in the hospital, but there's been some things going on. As far as his health goes, from what we're hearing, he just is having some kidney issues that Dr. Drew seems to think he will overcome and that he won't need a kidney transplant.
Is Dr. Drew a doctor?
I don't really.
He's like the doctor. Like
I don't know, but he had an opinion.
Okay.
so-
he always has an
He
opinion.
had
Yeah.
an opinion.
Yeah.
and
Yeah, what kind of
he
doctor
gave
is
it.
Dr.
Yes.
Drew, actually?
He is a doctor. I found out he did like coke and stuff and had all kinds of issues, and it was really interesting. Whatever. So,
right.
based on his personal opinion or medical opinion, whichever medical that may be, he thinks that the kidney issues that they're talking about, he should be able to overcome, and things could be great, but it is a long road. And he actually said that he thinks that Lamar needs to go into a treatment facility for at least a year, completely separate from family
I would
and
agree.
close
I would
friends
agree.
or whatever.
Absolutely.
And he said at least a year. But the problem with that is he's in love.
They're back together.
But are they? Come on, girl. Are
As
they?
he, okay, this is what.
sorry.
You
I'm
called
sorry.
it.
Let me let you finish.
called it.
We're gonna
Let me
You
let
called
you
it.
finish.
You
Sorry.
You called it.
I did. Okay, so we heard this week that Khloe has basically called the lawyer and was like, "Yo, I'm in love. Take it off the table. We're not getting a divorce." So they've withdrawn the paperwork from the courts. They're not getting a divorce. She will be by his side through his full recovery and his rehabilitation.
While they tape it.
I'm in
Hold
love.
on.
Or I have
There's
a
No,
storyline.
they actually said that they're not going to tape it.
Oh, but they're.
But they are.
Sources say
Oh, you're
that
so cute and naive.
supposedly, it's not confirmed, but Miss Kris Jenner, they're supposed to start taping the next season of Keeping Up with the Kardashians next month, and she's trying to maybe put that on hold for just a little bit so that they can actually follow Lamar's recovery instead, and that the culmination of that season will be Lamar and Khloe renewing their vows. So that's supposedly what's being
Fix it, Black Jesus. Fix it, Black Jesus.
Fix it, Black baby Jesus. If you can.
Hold my mule.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
boy, y'all
so, And just, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna add this one little additional.
I like how you do this all with a straight face, by the way.
I'm gonna just
boy.
add this one additional because it is. I mean, we're laughing.
Yes, it's not funny.
Because he's getting healthier and hopefully things will work out. But also this week, our buddy Chris Rock got into a little bit of trouble because he decided, he's doing better. I could crack a joke.
I actually don't know what his tweet was, so I'm
His
dying to
tweet-
know because
he-
I've worked with him.
he
He's a
tweeted-
lovely man.
He tweeted, and this is what the tweet said. Quote, "Here's to Lamar Odom on being the first guy in history to have coke and hookers save his marriage. Bravo."
That's not. What's wrong with that?
I mean,
People got real upset.
Wait,
People
what?
got upset.
They were like,
They
"But
did.
it's-
But it's funny because
It's
it's
too soon.
true.
why
It's
is it too soon?
It's funny because it's true.
No, first of all,
thought it was hilarious.
this is
I
not
know, it's funny
like
as hell.
this is not like someone who has cancer or
Yes.
something that is
He's a
afflicted.
drug addict.
Yes.
He went and you like
Did it to
he
himself.
obviously has an issue, and
Right.
we understand it's an
Absolutely.
addiction is a disease.
Absolutely.
But he did this to himself, and it is a little ironic that she finds that she loves him as he's lying in a bed.
She has always loved him.
Oh yeah, you said that. You did say that, but I did. I don't quite. I'm not in their marriage or anything like that.
Right.
But I just think that it's a little soap opera-ish that he almost dies, and it's like, so I saw a meme that was a little insensitive, but it was funny.
Which one?
Where it's the guy that she was dating, I guess, French
James
Montana.
James-
Jim, whatever his name was.
yeah.
When your girl's ex-boyfriend fakes death to get her
Oh, I
back.
saw that one.
Oh, that was funny,
good.
too.
It was funny.
It's funny because it's
funny.
the
It's
kind
the
of.
truth.
But
Yeah.
back to Chris Rock's, that is funny.
I
What
think
what
it's
were
funny.
people saying that were so up in
People were
arms
just
about
saying
that?
it's too soon. That's rude. That's
Well,
not
because they're
nice.
saying also that he has a real problem, and we're making
We
it
do
sound
not
like-
all
making fun
have
of
a
it.
real
We're not making
problem.
fun of the problem.
No, yeah.
But they have
It
put
is-
themselves in reality television.
True.
That's right.
And
True.
they put themselves in this arena. The Kardashians, I
Absolutely.
don't knock their hustle at all. I
Oh.
wish I could make a sex
Chris
tape.
Jenner, please manage
Yes.
me in my
But
life.
go
Please.
make
anybody
one.
want to make a sex tape
Can
with
we just
me?
do that?
Let's
here?
get
rich.
With the BHL
You know what I mean? Like,
I feel that.
I
you
feel
know,
like the four of us should go make a sex tape when
listen,
we're done.
I'm down.
All
Let's
right?
go. It'll be a very interesting one.
Right.
We'll be talking about Redbone during the sex.
Find out if this is in fact my natural hair color.
But anyway, they put themselves in this arena,
Right.
and it's almost par for the course. you
Right.
know?
No, that's true.
Exactly. Well, there you go, guys.
But I'm glad he's doing better.
But you know what? And fans are going crazy too because they also been saying that they would donate their kidneys because he's had Lamar's had 2 surgeries, emergency surgeries, and they were saying that fans were saying
if
they
he
would
needed a
if he needed
transplant, they
transplant.
would donate
And then
kidneys.
what
That's
I-
illegal.
That's it.
though.
That is
it?
illegal.
How is that
that's-
illegal?
It's
Unless it's a family member,
Yeah, it
I
has to be a
think you
family
can't
member.
get like a
Yeah.
random
You're jumping
kidney.
ahead of the
Because you
list.
jump
Yeah.
ahead on the
That's
yeah.
right. Which there was already a big article about that. Like, is he jumping ahead of the
Yeah.
list? Which
Right.
we don't know that yet. So
No.
let's not
Right.
put the articles out yet.
Yeah.
Right.
Um,
And then Khloe canceled her book tour
I
to
can't-
be by her
fans,
man.
fans, keep your damn kidneys though.
Right.
I mean,
Kidneys.
I know you
But-
can do without one of them, but keep yours.
so-
But why would you? Why? I don't know. I don't understand why that's illegal. If I want to give my kidney to some, if I could have saved Whitney Houston with a kidney or something, I would have given
Listen,
it to her.
it was beyond a kidney to save
Yeah, I
Whitney Houston.
know.
You need to give her several other
Oh,
things.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
We digress.
No. But well, what
sorry,
I
Moment
I
of
just can't
silence
believe
for
that this is the
Whitney.
I know,
conversation
moment
that
of
we,
silence.
have.
Whitney.
Moment of silence for Whitney. Sorry, Whitney.
Sorry. Okay.
No, but all jokes aside, another thing that who I feel sorry for outside of Lamar are the prostitutes at the Love
You feel sorry
No,
for
let me tell you why I feel sorry for them. Mr.
One
Dennis
was
Hall.
missing for a while. and
One is missing. Did they find her?
They
by the
didn't.
way?
I haven't heard that they found her. That
I
kind of
don't,
just
no,
like,
they have not found her. 2 days ago,
Yeah.
they hadn't found her. But Dennis Hoff is not paying the
He's not
2
paying them.
prostitutes who
But
were
that's
with Lamar.
fair.
And,
He thinks they were up to no good.
well, he says he has a no drug policy at
Yes.
the ranch. So he feels that the story's a little suspicious on Lamar coming in. They said they didn't really know anything about what
You
was
gotta
going on
keep
with the drugs.
your people in check.
But when I was finding out how much money they were going to make, so Dennis gets 50%.
Yes.
And then
Wait,
they,
how much are they gonna
so
make?
it was $75,000.
So Dennis gets 50%.
He gets 50%.
and the other
Wait,
girls-
75K for what? For fucking
4
Lamar
days.
for a
Well,
weekend?
well,
no,
they have sex.
they don't have sex.
They don't have.
Well,
unless-
well, they
sorry,
said he
hanging
didn't have
out.
sex.
Right.
So he was just taking the Viagra because he wanted to look at it. Maybe
Exactly.
I don't know.
We're
He
in the
just
wrong
wanted to-
Or maybe he
profession
just
if
wanted
they
to
make
watch them
75K
and help
over the
himself
week.
out.
There's
you know,
a meme
lot of
about
things.
that,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh.
But he gets 50% and they split the
Other,
rest.
yeah.
So I was like, damn, prostitutes really get paid in Nevada. I was like, that's like $12,000 per person.
For, like, a
12,
four-night
13,000
That's
per
not
person.
bad.
Is there a
That's-
male bunny
That's
ranch?
just one.
They're
but here-
working on it.
But here,
Okay.
that's just
Thinking
one.
about setting it
That's
up with
one of the
hypothetical.
girls.
One girl, one person, like Lamar is one person.
Yes.
Or one prostitution night. I'm saying like.
No, it was a weekend. Like,
Okay,
it
well,
was like 4 days.
okay,
That's
4
4
days.
days.
That
But
was
that's
a lot of work.
That's a
4
great
days out of
weekend.
30
Wait,
30 days in a month. I'm
Yeah.
saying like they could make another.
But that you don't know how many times they would have had to like get it in. Like that could have been a lot of work.
It's worth it.
That could have been like 6 times a day for 4 days.
Well,
That's
I'm
exhausting.
one of these
Listen,
people that
6 times.
I believe
alright.
like these kinds of things like prostitution and drinking and all that kind of stuff. I think it should all be legal because I
I
think
agree
it's,
with you.
I think it's our puritanical look at these things that make them so desirable to people. But like you go to other cultures and it's where it's legal and it's not such a big deal.
I completely
true.
agree with you. It's nothing I would particularly want to do, although maybe
Amsterdam.
for 75K I
Amsterdam.
might. No, but
Might
I
be.
personally think you're right. It's your body, so
Right.
what you do with it. So if you make it legal and you regulate it, then
Right.
everyone's safer and
Exactly.
everyone gets
Yes.
a little bit
And
better
no one's on the
wage.
corner.
So do you think
argument.
that they should legalize weed absolutely across
I
the board?
totally
Yes.
do.
Weed, yeah, that's kind of
Yes.
old. It's like, come on.
Weed.
Yeah, but,
Because
then,
I've
okay,
never-
but then
It's
what
a
about?
plant.
And I've never known anyone want to beat anybody up high on weed.
No.
But drunk,
I do have an angry
That's
black
right.
man friend though, who sometimes we're like, "Damn, I thought weed was supposed to calm your ass down."
But he's
You
an
have to
Then
go
you know
crazy.
an anomaly.
what? Then he shouldn't
He's
be
an-
smoking
not the
it.
rule.
That is
Yeah.
what I always tell my friends. Like, if you smoke it and you feel paranoid, it's not for you.
Leave it
Right.
alone.
That's the
Right.
truth. Like,
Put it
I
down.
enjoy a little champagne and wine, but I don't drink hard liquor because it literally feels like poison to me, and it is. So it's not for me.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
and people
I
have
feel
to
that.
realize. Know your drugs, people.
right.
That's true.
Know
Know
your
your
poison.
drugs.
Know your
drugs.
poison.
Know your
It's
poison.
Know your
true.
poison.
Know your
Know your
poison.
But we
poison.
do. I mean, we have seen what the legalization or the
It's
decriminalization
going well in Colorado.
has done for different states. They're bringing
True.
in a lot of
A lot of
money.
revenue.
Even
Yeah.
Iran is considering. I read that today. Considering legalizing marijuana.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's probably one of their big crops.
That might be a good thing.
Well,
Yeah. They need to calm down.
They need to calm down.
They
But
need to
also,
calm
They need to
down.
calm down.
I wouldn't. I don't think I would feel this way about it if it was something you had to really synthesize and compound and
Yeah,
put in
and
a
do things
lab.
about
And
it, yeah.
It's a plant that was actually a really great hemp was a great plant used on riverbeds to keep the soil intact. So once we made it illegal, we had a lot of land erosion. It's a weed, people.
Yes.
Just the way you just described it.
That's
I'm like,
not that. I'm like,
power to the weed. Power to the weed.
I think I would buy a broke down used car.
That's
from
what
you.
I'm saying. You sold me. Yeah, you had me.
I am
sold
in-
it all the way.
Right.
Yes.
You sold the hell out of that, Rachel. Damn.
But I have to say,
Redbone.
Redbone.
Lamar
Redbone.
Odom, you should probably steer clear of all of it for at least a year.
But the
like
other,
Dr.
the thing
Drew.
about like people offering up a kidney for him and this and that is, I would love to see him go through a treatment program
Yes.
if that's what he needs,
Yes.
which it
A year,
seems to
definitely.
be
The
a year
case.
or more. Then offer up your kidneys because I'm not offering up a kidney to someone who might go and blow it out again.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the
true.
in the
truth.
next 10 days.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
You go work on your problems and then all
True
the-
tea, no shade.
And I didn't realize how much money he really had. Because I was really thinking, I was like, he just spent
was in the league
$75,000 for 4 days.
15
How did you
years.
wait? How did you not know he had that much money when he was dating a Kardashian? Like, I
But
mean,
I think
because
she has more money.
She has
than
more
him.
money.
She has more money than him, but I feel like they don't
Relatively.
open the legs for it.
No.
Like, it has to be gold plated.
Yeah, why
Well,
would
that's
you?
not true.
No.
What's her
Who?
name? The other sister.
Yeah.
Which one? James
Courtney.
Scott don't have no money, right?
Scott don't have.
Really?
Scott,
But they were together.
Scott-
He was an
before
upper
they
middle
had-
class
He was an
boy,
upper middle-
though.
yeah,
He
but
was
he's-
like, I mean, he
I mean, they
grew
have
up
money.
in the Hamptons.
Right.
They
Like,
have
he was
money,
Thank
but
you,
they don't,
thank
but
you.
I'm
They don't
talking
have the
about,
money
like,
like they
they don't
have.
have.
Right.
He didn't have
They
NBA
didn't
money.
have the
But
money
she
they
didn't
have
money. She didn't
until
have that
this.
money
Yeah.
when they
Okay.
started.
They
dating.
did have
No,
Kardashian
no, they
money
were-
from
but
the
that was good
father.
money.
Yes, a
And
great
Bruce
money.
Jenner money.
And
Yeah,
Bruce
Bruce
Jenner
Jenner
money.
money.
They
but-
had money.
That's speaking
Like,
of
yeah,
money.
they had money. They weren't.
they were
They
okay.
weren't broke. Like,
They weren't
No,
broke.
but my point, she was still doing cleaning Paris's closets out.
Yeah,
she
at a
was
certain
styling
point.
her
She-
closets.
Okay.
But they
Is that
put-
what we're calling it these days?
But that's what put her on.
No, I know. You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
You're right.
And her pops did have money.
Yes,
Mr. Lawyer
absolutely.
Kardashian.
Wait,
had
can we
money.
sidebar for his voice? I literally am looking.
It's amazing.
Melting
What?
over here for
Your
your
voice.
glorious voice.
Really?
How do you
Yeah.
not
It's
do
melting,
every
really.
voice?
It's very
over-
Billy D, Code
I'm
45.
petting him right now because that's what
Maybe
his
I need
voice
to be the new
does.
Billy D.
But
Yeah.
you do?
Billy D.
Do you do? I mean, actually, and I asked you
Listen,
this.
you can come back anytime you
Yes.
want to.
That's
This
a whole
seat
nother
is
world.
always
Well,
open.
you know what? I love your voice, Courtney.
Thank you.
You can come back too. You can come back
All right. We're
sorry.
gonna move on.
All right, all right.
Move on from Lamar because there's
Right.
more issues to
Right.
discuss.
Well, thank you, Rachel.
You're welcome.
Oh, here we go back to Bill Cosby, guys.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
Hey, Bill Cosby.
all up in the news this week. Ebony magazine released their, new issue, and the cover was a great old big picture of the Huxtable family from like season 1 or 2 of the Cosby Show.
Minus Sandra. Why the shade for Sandra?
Chandra always got shaded.
Yeah, she did.
She always got
She
shaded.
wasn't a series regular, really.
She always got shaded.
She
especially.
was a recurring. So, sorry, I don't
Sorry,
know why
girl.
that was so funny. Okay, so the cover has the family picture, and then it's covered in shattered glass with the headline "Family Issues."
The shatter is over Bill's face in particular.
No, it's all over there.
It
All
was
of
all
their
cracked,
faces.
Well, the
though.
shatter- the shatter's
big
over-
center was over
Yeah,
his
yeah,
face,
the big
but
center,
the
but the
cracks
shatter-
Yeah.
extended over
Yeah.
the entire picture.
Yeah.
And obviously, they've met with some criticism and some hostility, etc., etc. The senior editor Jamila Lemieux.
I know Jamila well.
Jamila commented, she was on The Wendy Show, I believe, on Monday or Tuesday this week, sort of defending why they did it. And she had this main quote that was sort of circulating about the reason that they did it. And she said, quote, "This isn't a new conversation, but this is a conversation that we felt as a magazine, we should lead. That we should lead and contribute to in a meaningful way. So she essentially, in her interviews that I saw, she continued to say it's about starting a conversation.
Well, my biggest issue with this is that Bill Cosby is the perpetrator, not Felicia Rashad, not any of those people that added, and not even the producers or anything like that that created this iconic. You were on the Cosby Show, right?
Sure.
This iconic thing that meant so much to Black Americans, that changed television,
especially during those years.
Yes.
Because if you're young, you don't know that during those Reagan years and those hardcore
We
years,
weren't there.
all we heard about, well, pop stars, we were starting to make an inroads in music and sports and things like that. But you never.
We weren't TV.
We weren't on TV. It was crack babies. That's all you heard about Black people back then.
And it showed a version of Black life in America that I think if it weren't for the Cosby Show, there'd be no Barack Obama. I think you could really trace that back because it really showed people like, oh, there are Black people that are doctors and lawyers and da-da-da-da. And I remember they used to get a criticism that it was not real. And
Realistic.
I'm like, this is, my friends' lives are doctors and lawyers, and their parents are doctors. And
That's
my
how I grew
mom,
up. Yeah.
my mom, both my parents went to grad school and all that. And so I think it's unfair to the other people that did nothing wrong to put all of their pictures on and desecrate the whole Cosby Show. It is called the Cosby Show, but at the same time,
you just said it yourself, though. It is called.
But
the
it's not
Cosby
the. It's
Show.
not
It's
the.
not called the Huxtables.
But it
It's
wasn't
called the Cosby Show.
It wasn't just successful because of him.
Okay, counterpoint for 1 second.
Yeah,
because here's the thing. I grew up worshiping all these people as well. I mean, Bill Cosby, right?
Yeah.
Like Bill Cosby. But if you are, let's say, a small child right now, you're 8 years old and you're watching Cosby Show rerun, you are too young to separate.
You're probably not watching because they've taken it all off of TV.
No, but let's say they'd left it on. You are too young to differentiate between Huxtable and Cosby. You are. So if you've read these stories, you're a kid and you're a tween and you've read these stories about what Bill Cosby may or may not have done, and therein lies the rub for me. It hasn't been proven, although in the court of public opinion it has. But if you're a tween watching this, you can't separate that out.
Yes.
They pulled Seventh Heaven for the same reason, and that was molesting young girls. And actually, I read some critiques of the Ebony article. People were saying, well, why didn't you do this for Seventh Heaven? Because it's a Black magazine, people. That's why. We don't give a shit about Seventh Heaven on Ebony.
I did like Seventh
But
Heaven.
were you upset that they pulled that?
No, I mean actually the
But
reruns
I'm
are still
also
on.
not upset.
But the reruns are still
Well,
on.
they've come back. For a while, they
were gone.
They were gone for a while, and I don't know how long. But yeah. But
Well, you
I
don't
don't.
10% them need their checks.
Well, they're not.
I
We
already
talked about
proved
that.
this.
That she
Most
said
of
they
them
probably
had
aren't getting
buyouts
them.
back then.
Okay, so they're
they're
not
probably
getting
getting
checks.
That's my guess. Is they got a little scratch from it, but they get a main buyout, and it's nothing like what they made. And it was also 20, 30 years
years
ago.
ago
And
at this
honestly,
point.
residuals, take it from me, go down
They
a
go
lot.
down a lot.
A
Yes,
lot,
for
a lot.
sure.
Yeah.
So I don't know that it's hurting their paychecks necessarily.
Okay.
It has hurt the image. But again, I just wish we had a definitive answer, because here's the thing. We're dragging him through this where all this stuff is going on. And yet there's been not one judge saying, yes, you did or didn't. It's a
Well, he did the deposition
Oh, that's
that
true.
he admitted to
Deposition,
doing.
yeah.
But in the end, this actual magazine cover for, yes, it was the Cosby Show. There's plenty of images of him with
They could
the
have
Cosby
done that,
Show.
yes.
I'm sorry if I was Felicia Rashad. These people are
But
still
it
working.
fractured the
Yeah.
whole show.
It
It
did
fractured
fracture
the
the whole-
legacy
fractured
of
the
the
whole
show.
but these
You
are
have
still
a good
people,
point.
and
They're
these are
still-
still working actors that are professional people. Like that, their
That's very
image
true.
is
That's
already
very
tarnished
true.
enough by
Yes.
the fact that this exists, and the idea that Ebony, as a Black magazine, would take them further. Through
Let somebody
it,
else
I
do
have a
that.
But can
problem
I
with
say
that.
this?
Let somebody else
I
do
don't have a
that.
problem with Cosby and the Cosby Show, because I agree, like, it's named after him. That's why I felt like it should be off the air,
Right.
because I don't think it has a place right now. I was the one watching it with a
Right.
10-year-old, and she was like, oh, is that the same Cosby on the news? And I was like, oh, let's watch something
Awkward
else.
moments.
So it's uncomfortable, and I think that it needs to be separated, but I think to put those other actors and those other people in their lives in that same vein is not fair.
I think it's not fair.
I agree.
completely agree.
I
with you.
agree with you, but there's still a point that I feel like the point that they're making is that even Malcolm Jamal Warner said that the history of this show has been destroyed because of what he did. So
But-
this represents that
Yes.
history that we know is now destroyed.
whole
But
But
you
if
could
we're
have
saying,
done.
but
You
if
could
we're
have.
saying we can't separate separate Cosby from his character, and that's why all of this is destroyed, then it's not fair that we can't separate these people from their characters.
Yeah, but that was
our
our we worship them. That was our ideal. So
I
I
worship
get.
nothing but the Lord. I don't know what you're talking
Speak
about.
on it, hold my mule.
But the other thing we're forgetting is like Bill Cosby, if guilty,
Yes.
did
If
bring
guilty.
this on himself.
Absolutely.
Because
But
here's
he
a man.
didn't- but it's
No.
not-
What I'm just going to say is here's a man who held himself up as like young black
sure
people don't
did.
do this.
Right.
Young black
Don't
men
sag
don't
your-
do that.
don't sag your
Don't do
pants.
this.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Don't do all these things that are part of our culture and identity. Held himself up way higher.
high.
So he chose that for himself. So the fall is much
I don't. Bill Cosby is obviously a scoundrel. I always felt
A
like
scallywag.
Yeah, I always felt like when he was doing the whole campaign against the good black versus the, I thought it was just so condescending and,
Right.
just ivory tower-ish.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't. If this were him with his little face, with the pudding pop or whatever, and it was cracked, image cracked
Jello pop.
forever.
Right.
Family
Now it makes me
issues.
question those pudding pops.
Yeah,
But they put
But
Jello's
it's-
image on there
Right.
and shatter Jello's image.
Right.
If it were
No.
just that and just his image, definitely warranted. But Felicia Rashad, Keisha Knight Pulliam, Tempest Bledsoe,
Are all fine.
Malcolm
by the
Jamal,
way. They're
Rob-
all fine.
They
They're all
might be
fine.
fine, but they might be fine
Well, I haven't
because
seen
they're
Tempest or
they're-
anything lately,
No,
though.
but
She
I'm
might
saying
need
they
to not
might
be
be.
on
They
Ebony
might be
cover.
fine, but
I'm
it's
just
not really about them. It is about Ebony magazine placing this on their cover.
But here's what listen. Photography is
I
one of
still
my.
disagree. I agree with the cover.
Photography is one of my hobbies, passions outside of acting, and I actually think it's a brilliant cover
I
in
do
terms
too,
of
yeah.
photography.
We're talking about
Me
it.
too.
Yeah, like first
Ebony
of all,
has.
it
We haven't
didn't.
talked
They should
about
sell
Ebony.
a
in a
lot.
long
Nobody's
time.
talked about Ebony this much since they were
Right.
getting their hair done,
You're right
and
about
that's the
that.
truth. In a
That's
black
true.
hair salon.
And so, but my point is this: we all know it was done for the shock factor.
The shock factor, sure.
Yeah, and
But the whole thing was shocking. So why I agree, like yes, the cover is shock value, but what the accusations and what he's already admitted to are shocking.
Yeah.
oh no, if he is proven guilty, or we kind of know that he's admitted this in a deposition, but he's done some heinous, horrible things. He's not a good person at all.
No.
I'm just saying, did they have to put the whole family up there? Because I would still watch The Cosby Show. And I don't watch it. I wouldn't watch it thinking, "Oh my God, Bill Cosby is."
I'm gonna be
Would
honest
you
with you.
really?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I got the DVDs and I was cleaning the other day, and I have some original shows, and I went to put it on, and I couldn't do it. I was like, I can't watch this show the same way anymore. I can't do it.
I agree with that. Like I remember when I first started acting, I was doing a scene by this playwright called Rainer Fassbinder, who I really loved this scene, The Bitter Tears of Petrifying Kant. And then I went and found out that he was a horrible Nazi. It really affected, and I was very young, and I went, oh, how do I separate the artist from his art?
person,
Yeah.
That was my first thought of like, how do I do this? And I kind of couldn't, to be honest. To a certain extent, I could, but not really. And I think that's what we're dealing with here.
R. Kelly's still making music.
But that's
Yeah, but it
because-
took him a minute though. It took him a minute.
No,
He never held himself
I feel like
up.
R. Kelly
Well,
got away
listen,
with
it wasn't R. Kelly. It was his brother, according to him.
But he also never held himself up.
That's
as
what he
like,
said.
I,
That's what he said.
We
That's what he
side-eyed
said.
you to each other.
Listen, I'm just quoting the Kelly. The Kelly said
I
it
can't
was his
even
brother.
talk about R. Kelly, but can I just say one more thing about this Ebony
Yes.
situation? If her justification is like, this is a conversation we need to be having, whatever. The conversation had already started. You didn't need to do that to make the conversation get started.
I
You're not
just
did that to
starting
sell
the
magazines.
conversation. We're not having the conversation just because you did that cover.
we're having it, but
Relax them out.
there's some great grandmama sitting somewhere, and she's just reading it, really getting the full, issue on this now by reading Ebony. We forget maybe Ebony isn't a
That's true.
magazine that super millennials read or
No,
whatever,
but,
even Gen
yeah.
X, but the baby boomers.
But you could have silhouetted everybody else.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's actually a really
Yeah.
good idea. I might have silhouetted them and left his face like that. But again, I really think the photography and the message, because also, what is the message? When I look at this picture, you can go, okay, Bill Cosby shattered this image, or is it that the image of the show has been shattered
No,
by...
I-
you can read
this-
the cover a few different
But
ways.
I take it as the legacy though, because even that's why they put at the end. I think that's why if you look at it says forget Candy, how to build a legacy, the Obamas. I feel like it's showing the negative and the positive.
But the thing is, this is what I think, okay, I just realized what my real issue with this is. So we had this portrayal of this nuclear black family where the mom and the dad were both professionals in the home. They were loving, they gave great lessons, and America said that's not real. and now we're saying, yep, it wasn't real.
Bill Cosby said that.
No.
We didn't. Bill Cosby.
No, Bill Cosby is a man.
Didn't. Bill Cosby said Bill Cosby is an asshole.
He was,
but he wasn't
Heathcliff
saying the
Huxtable.
No, I understand, but that's the risk you take.
But this is America saying, see, we told you y'all don't have families like this. That's what I feel. That's my visceral reaction to this, is that it was the first time that, I'm just going to say it, white Americans looked at black people having families other than daddy not there and whatever.
But maybe a bigger issue we should be looking at is, why is it 30 years later that we're still like, we need another black family show where there's blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
it's about
but we have them. We have them. We
No.
have them. Blackish. Jennifer was just here,
Absolutely,
We just had Jennifer.
absolutely.
And Jennifer,
Black
actually, we had
tears.
Jennifer Lewis here Wednesday night. She did a portrait. You guys should
that
check that
out
out
for
because she
sure.
gave some very insightful information about Bill Cosby as well, and about facts that she knows about this case. So check it out. It's juicy. I ain't gonna lie.
So
It's
you-
juicy.
Just so you know,
Yeah, she's-
when I
yes.
worked on this show, I mean, let's put it, I was very naive, but there was one girl, and maybe I said it last time, I don't know if I did or not, but there's one girl who worked in the on the crew, and she lived on the same street Bill Cosby lived on, which is a very expensive street, in a condo, and had the exact same dog he raised. He had raised, Scottish Terriers, and it was like, okay, clearly you're fucking him.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it was really clear even then, and I was the most naive person. And I didn't say names, and I'm not saying they definitely did, but one thing I know is that how do you have a condo on, like, West 50 whatever street and a purebred dog that's worth more than,
Right.
your
Right.
car?
Year's worth of salary.
And you don't work.
And you don't work,
Right, yeah.
So these things have been going
Well,
on a long time.
affairs and infidelity is
Nothing
one thing.
wrong with that, by the
Consenting
way, none of
adults,
my business.
drugging someone and raping them is a whole
That
different
to me
else.
is the bigger issue.
Yeah.
It's like he was so powerful and so charismatic, Bill Cosby.
He's clearly an egomaniac. You know,
That you
Yeah,
have
that's
to
what I was
knock
gonna
the
say,
girls
man.
out because he
It's a
could have
game.
gotten laid
Yeah.
left and
It was a
right by
power thing.
willing
It was a power.
girls.
It was power.
It was
He was
absolutely power.
nuts. Well,
All right, and
All right.
that was our
Yes.
commentary on Bill Cosby. Somebody else actually spoke up about Bill Cosby for the
Payback is
first
the
time
Yes.
in forever. We had Eddie Murphy receive the Mark Twain Award over the weekend in New York, and it was filmed for television. And for the first time in 28 years, he told a joke on stage. And
that's true because he didn't at the reunion.
he did not.
At the
That was the big
SNL
thing.
reunion.
At SNL 40th
Right.
anniversary a few months ago, he would not tell the joke, and he said that the reason he would not do his Bill Cosby impression and do a joke about Bill Cosby, he was saying that he was not going to kick somebody when they're down,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera.
I appreciate that.
But apparently he had some new feelings because he
Actually, but describe
it
the
was a little
joke
bit
because
of
the
joke.
way that
The-
he
yeah,
did it
the
was
joke
well
was a little
done.
bit. It was well done. I
Yes.
was funny myself. He was receiving the award, and he was like, "Oh, this is great, amazing. Whatever. Who else has gotten this? Oh, Bill. Oh." Did y'all take that back from him?
Right.
Because there's been lots of colleges that have given him honorary
Everybody,
doctorates and
yeah.
things like that, and they've been rescinding those
Yes.
awards and things. And so he went on with the joke a little bit about, like, did you take the trophy back, and how funny it would be to watch Bill. He did his Bill impression.
He did it right.
He did.
And saying how funny it would be the angry Bill trying to keep his trophy. And it was really funny. And actually, he apparently had sort of worked the joke a little bit with Arsenio Hall and Chris Rock backstage or at the hotel before doing the show, because he was kind of like, I don't know if I
But he
should
was
kinda
very
go
careful.
there.
He did not insult Bill Cosby.
He didn't insult
at
him.
all.
He just kind of
It was
joked
not
around
all.
it.
He
But
just did an impersonation of how Bill Cosby would
Yes.
react if someone
it
wanted
was his
an award
impersonation
back.
heard around the world because people have been wondering why he hadn't done it since all this has happened, and that was his like little moment of he had his moment on the issue without bashing Bill at all.
Right.
Well, I think it's ironic, and karma is I can't say that word, but it will always be repaid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
very
you
true.
remember Bill Cosby criticized Eddie Murphy
Yes,
He
for
did.
when he first came out for
He
his
certainly did,
language,
yeah.
and he said his jokes were lewd and
Yeah.
about sex.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well,
But that's
and maybe it hit a spot.
Yes.
It got real personal
That's
for
what
Bill.
is
Right.
so
Yeah.
disappointing about this whole thing, because again, if you're going to hold yourself up as the standard of what not just Black
Yeah.
Americans but white Americans should act like, and then it turns out you're not. It's sort of like when we found out the priests are doing X, or whoever
Yeah.
Right,
these
right.
are people
Yeah.
in a
That's true.
position of power. So it's disappointing.
Well,
It is.
most egomaniacs at that level, that kind of almost psychotic level, are delusional about what real life is.
That's
and so
true.
and they don't they separate. They have a bifurcated personality. It's almost like dual personalities.
Right.
Because in real life he was the pudding pop guy and the
He
perfect
created that
father.
image.
Right.
And for Eddie Murphy to talk about the stuff that he talked about, I believe he really genuinely believed it was wrong.
Yeah.
And what he was doing was a different person.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and not because I don't want to sound like I'm defending Bill Cosby.
I'm not at all.
Because I'm not defending what he has done and become. Because I say, "Damn it, Bill," almost every other day. Like, why did you do this to us? But in sort of his defense and the things that he's done over the years and holding this high standard and all of that, I would venture to say that it wasn't such a terrible thing based on the fact that we live in a world and he existed in a world where, like we said, our images weren't there, our images of what could be and what was great about us and all of those things. So he was trying to get us to exalt those things. So in his insulting Eddie Murphy and telling him why you gotta cuss so much and why you gotta do that, it was, I personally didn't think it was coming from a horrible place, and maybe it wasn't a bad thing that he did all of that. It just sucks that he obviously couldn't stand up to his own standard, but I don't think that that's a standard that we should ignore.
Right,
I
that's very
guess.
true.
No,
So to
you're
speak.
absolutely right about that.
The comments were legitimate.
Yes.
You know, but also what's legitimate is that Eddie Murphy is a comedian and gets to make choices about the kind of comedy he
Exactly.
wants
So,
to
and
do.
in terms of an artist and
You
what
know.
you do, like that's your decision
Exactly.
and all of that. But as people, I hate the idea, just like you were saying about the family, and now people are saying, let's see, that family doesn't exist. I don't want, the ideas have legitimacy, and they still have legitimacy, even though he failed.
Yes.
Because it's not about him.
absolutely.
Yes,
It's
the
about
ideal
us
should
and
stand.
what we need to do and what's important and why we should want to showcase ourselves the best way we possibly can, as much as we possibly can. And that doesn't necessarily mean we're perfect. It just means that we deserve to have multidimensional images of ourselves all the time that are honest and real, and that is not a bad thing.
Well, the most important point is that maybe Eddie Murphy will go back and do Delirious Part 2.
He might.
Or Raw.
Or Raw.
Or
Give me,
Raw.
I feel like is this a tease for him to
I don't know.
maybe do?
I think he's too scared. I really believe that he doesn't do comedy.
But when you're great, you're great. Like sometimes, like you
Leave it
just need to
alone.
leave that alone.
Like Michael
why
Jordan,
am I
don't join
constantly
another
trying
team.
to like do like, and maybe as an artist, he don't want to try to like mess with that.
Yeah, but
He
at this
likes-
point, would it really hurt his career? Honestly,
It's not about your career. Like, if you know that was amazing, I don't know. If I came up with like some amazing shit, I might still like do some stuff, but I'm not gonna try to keep competing with what that was for the public all the time, because what the public wants and thinks is great, like, can't be the validation for what you're doing artistry-wise. So maybe he just doesn't want to put it out there. So maybe he's like,
I think
feel
she
that.
has a valid point,
I feel
because
that.
I used to be a trained dancer, and I was really, really good. And my best friend was a classical pianist. And then we stopped, and when I went to law school and she went to business school, and people ask us, why don't you dance or play the piano anymore? And it's because I can't do it at that level again. And I want the last thing that people remember me
Was the
dancing
greatest.
I think-
was the
part.
I
greatest.
think
I feel
Eddie
that.
could absolutely do it at that level again, but I also wonder, like, having been in this town for a long time and seen a lot of people come and go, including myself, is it just that he doesn't want to step into it again?
No.
Because when you have been in this business and you are the king, like he was,
No.
and then you have a few flops, like he
Yes.
had, people are vicious.
They
and people
are.
are
True.
horrible,
That's
and
very
people
true.
are mean, and I could see him being like, I don't want to tangle
Deal
with
with
you
that and-
people who
Right.
turned on me. Disappeared, all the good times.
Yeah.
Everybody disappeared, and then you're left
tried
with
to come,
what?
yeah.
I mean, that's true. That's
And
a
you-
good
and
point.
it's not like
And
he
he's
stopped
paid,
creating,
so
yeah.
it's
And
not,
he's
you
paid.
don't have to.
Yeah,
Right.
he got a lot of kids too.
He doesn't have
so.
to stop creating.
I can't believe he has one with Scary Spice. That's so
I
weird
love
to
that.
me.
I
That's
love
so
that.
Well, he
weird.
denied it for a while.
He
But
did.
it's his.
Yeah,
Listen,
it is.
we,
Well,
we,
no, they
we,
had a paternity test.
we
and everything.
interviewed Mel B on Portraits as well, and she gives a little taste of the story with
Yeah,
that one too.
she
So check that one out
did.
too.
True tea, no shade.
All right.
If you want a taste of any other little after stories for your favorite TV shows, make sure you guys head over to our sister station, AfterBuzz TV, and check out all of our after shows. We do a bunch of different ones, whether you like Scandal.
Oh, you do? I
do
didn't know this. I'm
Scandal.
all about it
We do
now.
Being
I'm
Mary
going to be on
Jane.
it.
We
You
do
should be on
Oh,
it.
y'all should call
Love
me back
and
for
Hip Hop.
Scandal and
Let's
Being
come
Mary
back
Jane.
on.
Let's do it, girl.
They're
We
gonna
got a
be
team.
on.
We're just
They're
going
gonna
to
be on
put
it.
ourselves back on, by the
check
way.
us out, AfterBuzzTV.com.
All right, cool. Well, before we move to the final hot topics, last time you guys were here, we were talking about DraftKings.com, and I want to know,
Yes.
have you followed up with DraftKings.com and gone onto
you
the site
gone?
yet?
I actually have.
Did you?
I did. I did check it out. We talked about it and I felt so bad that I never
Do anything.
No, me too. I was like, I don't know. And then they were like, do you want to win $1 million? And I was like, yes,
$2
you know
million.
what? I do.
$2 million.
$2 million is
$2
first prize.
Yes, and then $1 million, and then you get the 100,000.
It's $10 million in prizes,
In prizes,
after
right.
that. So
Yes.
yeah, but you can go to DraftKings.com and start your fantasy football life.
And
Do
the
it.
code is black, so you can
Code
definitely go
black.
check that out. And please support your black.
That's right.
You're black.
All right, we're going to move on to the EUR Web Story Spotlight of the Week,
Oops, we didn't get
which
it.
we
I
didn't get
just
the
had to
music
do it
again. They
myself.
just don't like the music no more.
Spotlight of the week.
All right, this story has also been making a lot of headlines. Mr. Ahmed Mohammed, who we know was the 14-year-old kid who...
I stand for Ahmed.
Yes, I stand for Ahmed, which is a social media craze. He was the 14-year-old kid who brought the clock to school, and everyone thought it was a bomb, and he had all those...
arrested
No, they
Yeah.
didn't think it was a bomb, or they would have evacuated that school.
Thank you.
Well,
okay.
that's a whole other
Right.
different point, right?
But they did take him to
But they
jail.
interrogated him, took him to
Yes, they
jail.
did.
And, you know, they started a social media campaign about him and really was supportive of him. I mean, he had offers from Google. He had offers from
NASA.
AOL, NASA, all these places to do internships. And I know that after speaking with him and his family, they were very offended by what was going on.
As they should be.
As they should be. Well, recently he also sat down in the White House with the Obamas. And, I mean, this kid's met more people than most people in their entire life. And he's only 14 years old. What, you said you should have bombed some shit?
No, I should have built a clock that
Looks like a bomb.
like
do
a
not
bomb.
come after me.
Do not
FBI.
come after for that
Yeah,
one,
they don't
right.
play around.
There are no bomb builders
But
up
you
in
know
here.
what? They wouldn't have cared because
No,
you
'cause
don't
you're a
look
black
Middle
dude.
Eastern.
Yeah.
Right,
They
that's
would've
very
been
true.
They were like, oh, he's black.
They
It's
was
not
like,
gonna
oh,
work.
baby, what? Does
Or
the
something.
clock work?
They don't respect
It's
us.
true.
Well, he is. Listen, his life is going to be okay because he has now accepted a new school program where he's going to Qatar, which I found out just recently how to pronounce that word because I was like,
not
there's
Qatar?
No,
it's not
no, it's
Qatar.
not. It's
Some
not
people
Qatar.
say Qatar,
Some
though,
people say
but it's
Qatar, but
Qatar.
they actually said that's very far removed from being the right
Yes.
way to say it. So
Qatar.
it's Qatar. But he accepted a scholarship to Qatar Foundation for Education, Science and Community Development. So he will be attending that school, and this is what he had to say about the program. He said, Qatar was a cool place to visit. I saw so many amazing schools there. Many of them are campuses of many famous American universities. The teachers were great. I think I will learn a lot and have fun too. So, you know, good for him. He's going to move on with
Moving
his family.
on.
Now, there is a little bit of controversy about this whole scholarship thing because what they
there
say is that Qatar sends the largest amount of aid to terrorists in Syria.
Yeah.
So the program is actually funded
is
by
not
a
good.
charitable,
That's our fault, though.
Yeah, but
organization.
we're
So we
Sorry.
made another.
Where did
to
it
ISIS.
start?
So there's a connection to ISIS with the charitable
First of
organization.
That's
all-
what I said when we talked about this last time.
You know, people are saying, okay, this is great and all, but what does this really mean?
He
What are these
walked in with a
suspicions?
clock and now he's going to Qatar.
Right. So
Good
Yeah,
job,
but
America.
I was shocked at the controversy that was going on about him when it first started. Like my hardcore Republican friends were like, clearly his
You
family.
have those?
I do. Yeah, because I like to hear
It's
everyone.
amusing.
It
Yeah.
is. I
That
like
is very
it. But it wasn't
amusing.
even just hardcore Republicans. It was just a lot of conspiracy theory people too who were like, no, we think his parents set him up, told him to do
That's
this
what
just for the
yeah.
attention, for empathy, for
Yeah.
sympathy. Which I don't know. You'd have to be like, I don't know, Bill Cosby bad to put your child through that. To be
But people
honest.
do it. People send their kids to go get blown up.
It's like that bubble boy.
Do you
People-
think that his parents
We send kids
that?
to war. We send
I
our
know,
children
but
to
you know
war.
what? Like, I'm so cynical that I won't be shocked in like 20 years if we find out we funded ISIS. So you know what I mean?
We
Because
probably
mean-
did at some
right?
point.
Do you
Listen.
understand?
We
probably
what I'm-
did.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Because
I don't
every-
disagree with
No,
that
every
statement you
government
just made.
regime
No.
that has come against
That's
us,
right.
we've given them weapons.
I'm grown enough to remember when we funded basically Osama bin Laden, and
Yeah.
some of
Yes.
you've heard about it, but it's actually true. Like
He was
back
educated here.
when Russia invaded Afghanistan.
And there's a meme running around Facebook right now
it's-
saying he was a CIA agent.
Well, he might have been, but
He
when
might
Russia
have been.
invaded Afghanistan and all
Yes.
those beautiful Afghan scarves ended up in New York City at that around that same time, we were giving money to fight the
Yes.
Russians, the big Russian threat. So we are accountable.
We
accountable.
create the most terrorists.
That's right.
Like we're just not maybe directly, but with our actions and the people that we choose to support and the people we arm, because and then they turn around and use the arms against
That's
us.
right. That's the only reason.
That's
I
the
don't
truth.
necessarily think we did, by the way. Save your email for someone else. But I think our government could have been behind these things because it's a roundabout way to get what they want in those areas of the world where they don't ever reach. So.
Well, I'm saying that we do. I'm not going to mince words because I've seen plenty of documentaries where we have armed people to go against the Russians or go against the North Koreans or the Vietnamese, and then they turn around and use those
because
weapons against us.
And a lot of times because we abandoned them. What happened in Afghanistan is we gave them all that stuff, then we didn't follow through with what we said we were going to do.
What we think we need at a certain time changes over time, and alliances shift, and it's, that's my attempt at giving the benefit of the doubt to the government.
Nice try.
Good luck with that.
Good luck with that.
Because if we believe that, like, it's all, like, because any other day I'm like, we're all going to hell and it's never going to be anything anyway.
I don't trust
like,
anything with
We're not on a list that you're not on right now.
It's
So
about
good for you for covering.
It's not about trust, because even watching the Benghazi, like, thing with Hillary this week, it was just kind of like,
she's the boss.
But she dusted off her shit.
Yeah, she was like, next.
I really want a Hillary Bernie
She did, but I
ticket.
hated her on not Jimmy Kimmel.
On
The SNL?
Yeah.
Okay, why would you hate her?
She's on SNL. She's supposed to be in front of the Big
She's not a comedian.
She's not supposed
She's
to be on
awkward.
SNL.
I know, but it was
You
just
didn't
so
like
awkward.
the bar thing?
I thought it was awkward.
I thought it was hilarious.
it's
I mean,
weird.
she's not an actress.
And she
It's
actually
weird.
copped, I thought, to some of the, like, when the character who was playing her, the woman who's playing her is a lesbian, and I know, and she was like, you could have come sooner with some of these things for
Right.
issues.
Yeah.
I thought that was actually really good to have in there.
Some of it.
I
But in the end-
didn't like her on Jimmy Fallon either because I felt like the
Oh my
answers were
God.
very just so contrived.
Well,
But
of
this
course
is-
they're controlled and specific, and they're.
She's running for
But I
president.
wanted it to be
Yeah.
more natural though. I feel like at this stage we want something a little bit more
Well,
natural.
this is I
No,
argue
we don't.
I argue that
We don't.
I argue with
We
people.
don't want the truth.
No, we
like,
don't.
people
We
keep
don't.
playing like, oh my God, it's so shocking. She didn't tell us that it was a terrorist attack immediately. Y'all don't want to know that shit for real because
I
people
wanna
are
know.
crazy. No,
what you gonna do about
I
it?
wanna know.
The
general
What you gonna do?
At least I got that information.
You think
But
that
what
the
you gonna do
government?
about
You think the government is always giving you the full, up to date, like
Absolutely
exactly
not.
what's
They
going
tell
on?
us nothing.
That's the point.
And I don't want them to.
That's the
If
point
we
because
find
when
out
they
some
do,
stuff-
we nut up. People act crazy
Yeah.
because most people are not brilliant. I love the world.
Why you look at me when you say that?
I feel like she was looking at me.
I love the world.
The shade was over here. I saw the
with that.
shade right here on
Enough
this
with that.
chocolate right
I'm gonna
here.
just look right there. It's kind of like how when we started the country and they was like, we need an electoral college because we don't trust these motherfuckers.
That,
Right.
What do you guys
Well,
think
but-
about that?
but
I think
not-
it's time to switch it up.
I think
to be
it's been
honest.
time.
I think it's been time.
But at the
Yeah.
same time, that could mean Trump. So I
Well,
don't know.
yeah,
how
But
exactly.
this is my
Exactly.
this is the
True
thing
story.
that
Because
pisses
people
me
are
off
not bright.
about the presidential. They always say, "I want to have a president I want to have a beer with." I think that is
No, you
such a
don't.
marginalization of minorities and women because
I don't
first of all, I don't
drink
drink beer. Secondly, I don't. Most of y'all are never going to have a beer with the president, and I don't need my president to be affable and nice.
Well, they may have had one with Bill Clinton.
Right, you know, but
Maybe.
my point is, I like that President Barack Obama is an affable, wonderful person. But
he has to be.
I didn't vote for him for that reason. I voted for him because I trusted his decision making ability, and I knew that in the cut, between the people that were up there, and it wasn't because he was black. Even between he and Hillary, I trusted his decision making more than hers at that moment.
Did you? Because I
did.
said this the last time. I didn't know that. I'm not from Chicago. I didn't know that much about him. So
Yeah.
to be honest, he really had to win me over because
Me too,
because a lot of
actually.
us don't
I
actually
agree.
just vote for
And
people
I saw him
because
in
of
LA
race.
when he came here, and I still was like, I was on the
Yeah.
fence.
Oh, no, I was
To
I
be
was
honest, I was
pro-Hillary
very
until January.
Hillary.
Me too.
And
Right.
the very idea that he really kind of not came out of nowhere, but he kind of came out of
And
nowhere in
won
terms of a
everybody
national.
over.
That meant you were in bed with somebody that I don't know if I want
Right.
you to be in bed with. So
Right.
that made me very leery.
Because
of
Even though
Obama.
Oprah was endorsing him, and I
But
trust
know
everything
white
Oprah does.
people's-
Everything. When
You
Oprah
might
tell me to do
She's
something,
the guru.
I do it.
She's the guru. I do it
I
too.
do it.
But I think white people or people of other ethnicities think like black people just follow another black. We don't just
No,
blindly
No, it's
follow.
not that.
you.
Yeah,
No,
absolutely.
That's not why I voted for him.
I hate to say it, but if anything, sometimes we go
We're
against
worse.
that.
We're
worse
harder.
with our own people.
Yeah, we're
you know
harder
what I
on
mean?
each
We're
other.
hard on each other.
He can't
so-
run this country.
Exactly.
You know what
So-
I mean? It's just like it's
Look
like
how we
that.
treated Reverend Al Sharpton.
Right, exactly. Like, well,
Well,
Well, listen.
I'm not sure he's the
that's
best
all right.
example.
I'm joking because
It was 2 seconds out the
he
jogging
digged
suit.
his own hole. Trust me.
Yeah.
But he still got that TV show that be doing
He
real
does.
well.
so now they're on the weekends
I don't
only. They got
understand.
moved from the
I
prime
don't
time.
understand, though. know.
I love that show.
I don't get it. I
right,
can't.
well-
I feel like he's yelling the whole time, and I can't.
That's all he does. Is yell.
So it's like
Yeah.
he's on like a Nickelodeon sitcom then.
Basically. Pretty much.
I worked
Ooh.
with we love you, Nickelodeon.
Listen, I would love to be
be
on.
on a
No.
Nickelodeon
I would love to play the mom on a Nickelodeon sitcom. It's funny because I watched one last week and everybody's talking really almost Shakespeareanly loud, and then the side said, "Make sure to watch your volume," and I was like, "Okay, I can talk," but it was a joke because it comes from truth.
Yeah, no, most jokes do.
Love Nickelodeon.
Love Nickelodeon. We are not dissing Nickelodeon.
not at
In
all.
fact, we want you to advertise on Black Hollywood Live,
That's
Nickelodeon.
right.
Our audience loves your shows. All right, the last story of the day is something I thought was interesting as well. Malcolm X has a letter that was recently found that he wrote in 1964, and it revealed how he felt racism should be killed and destroyed. So I'm going to read, it's a little lengthy, so bear with me, but I'm going to read exactly what was
All right,
said by
chocolate
him.
voice.
All right,
Yeah.
chocolate voice. Billy D. Williams
Go in
Jr.
that lower register. How we
Here we
like
go.
it.
Let me give you a sexy voice. If white now, let me. It's not appropriate for the Malcolm X thing.
For the material.
All right, yeah, for the material. If white Americans could accept the religion of Islam, they could accept the oneness of God, Allah. They could then sincerely accept the oneness of men and cease to measure others always in terms of their difference in color. And with racism now playing America like an incurable cancer, all thinking Americans should be more receptive to Islam as an already proven solution to the race problem. The American Negro can never be blamed for his racial animosities because his are only reactions or defense mechanisms which our subconscious intelligence has forced him to react against the conscious racism practiced by American whites. But as Americans' insane obsession with racism leads her up the suicidal path, I do believe that whites of the younger generation in the colleges and universities, through their own young, less hampered intellects, will see the handwriting on the wall and then turn to their spiritual salvation to the religion of Islam and force the other generation to turn with them as well. That is Mr. Malcolm X.
It's in the hands of the kids.
It's in the hands of the kids and the next generation and Allah.
Well,
Go ahead, because you're
I
a preacher's son. So
yeah, I
am
am a PK, but I have to admit, and I'm a lawyer and all that. And I got a lot of education. I had to read that 3 times.
I did too.
And because it's heavy.
It's heavy.
And
But I
it's
understand it,
I
though.
understand it.
I
My
understand
favorite
it.
line is that it's that Black people are reacting to what has been put upon them, and I believe
Which is
that
very
is the truth.
relevant to
That's the truth.
what's going on right now too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know?
And that you cannot scream foul when we react to how we are treated,
Right.
and the centuries of indoctrination of and how we are put upon. I don't know that I quite agree that the Savior is following Islam.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I also don't know that it has come to pass what he said about it, the youth, but I do know that as people are getting more and more educated and younger people are becoming, with everything, we are moving towards a much more accepting society. And the people that are clinging to this stuff are they tend to be, and I don't mean this in a bad way, less educated.
Yeah.
The more educated people are and the more they are thrown in and thrust into diverse populations, they realize, hey, Rachel's a cool girl. You know what I mean? Courtney is smart. Derrial is intelligent. He has something to say about the world, and he doesn't hate me.
Right.
Even though he could. You
Right.
know what I mean? And should, because my people have done a horrible thing to him. And so I think the more educated we get, I think I've always said education is the key to ending racism.
I agree with most of what you're saying. The only thing I'm going to disagree with is the younger generation part that he put in there, because I look at that as looking at the millennials right now and things like we keep quoting the Raven Simone's about there's no color lines and they don't want labels and those type of things. And you look at commercials now and look at television, and it is more racially integrated. So I do think that that's a cause and effect of the younger generation also changing the philosophy of the old school people. So there is sort of, to me, something there that is true and relevant to the times that we are in right now with what he was saying.
Right.
You know?
I don't take away. Listen, Mr. Malcolm X was clearly talking about his religion, Islam,
Absolutely, yeah.
But what I hear when I listen to this is, because there's a lot of people I think are probably going to respond to the Muslim side of
Muslim
Islam,
side,
and that's
sure.
bad. But
Yeah.
first
They'll
of all,
probably
it's a
focus on that,
beautiful,
too.
lovely religion. It really is. But what I hear from this is he's saying if people actually follow the true tenets, any religion.
Any religion, yeah.
religion, whether it's Christianity
Yeah.
or
That there's one
I'm just
God.
speaking for myself, obviously not him. Right. If you follow the tenets of religion, how could you be racist? If you actually listen and follow what Christianity or what Islam says, or the many other religions out there that most of them all preach love and understanding and peace and kindness to your fellow man. So
Very
that's
true.
what I hear in that for people who he said Islam,
Islam is
stop.
the-
You're
Right. That's what they're gonna
focusing
focus on,
on the
right.
absolute
Absolutely.
wrong
The
thing
message.
here.
Focus on the message. Now, this was a 6-page letter. It's going on the market for $1.25 million.
Should be more.
I wish
I
I,
mean,
had it. I'd buy it.
I wish I had it.
I hope it ends up in a museum or something like
It
that,
will.
It
rather
will.
than a
Somebody
private
will buy it and
collection.
donate
I
it to
hope
the
so.
I think
They
so.
usually
Oh,
do
you know what?
that.
So
Usually
for
do
a
that.
second, I went, oh, maybe Bill Cosby, and then I was
And
like,
then
oh, you know what I mean? Because because he was the one that you always thought.
Riddle me this, Batman. Riddle me this. So say Bill Cosby did buy that letter, and he put it in the Smithsonian African American.
It doesn't erase.
Doesn't erase him.
Does that take away
Does that take away from the letter?
Doesn't take away from the letter at all, but he's also not.
Would you not look at the what
He's
letter?
not
You know
in
what?
the letter. You guys, that's not an applicable analogy. He's not mentioned in this letter. He is all over the Cosby Show.
But
It's
he's the
called
reason why you
Cosby
get to
Show.
read the letter in the Smithsonian. Do you not read it?
No.
I wouldn't take away from the letter, but
It's
I
the
will say.
lawyer in me,
but
I'm sorry, I
I
have
would
to
say,
play both
but I
sides.
will say people probably would judge it a little bit
Say
more,
it's
and they would say it's
tainted.
tainted, or they would say
In
that
fact,
he's
I hope
trying
Bill
to
Cosby
change his
doesn't buy this
or-
letter.
Don't buy it.
Or they would say he's trying to change
give
his
it to your
image.
daughter.
He's trying to force a change of viewpoint of what his image is now. I think that people wouldn't receive this letter the same way if he did it. I don't think
That's
so.
right.
I don't think they
Camille,
would.
you go on ahead and buy it then.
Oh.
Somebody buy it. And give it to
Camille's
I just-
money is Bill's money.
I mean, I don't. But
That's
I
why
don't-
Camille's like, I'm gonna stay silent.
Right.
Because she.
She ain't saying nothing. And-
Well,
or
they
the
don't have a
daughters.
prenup
Or the
or
daughters.
anything.
Or the daughters.
But like,
Yeah, but listen.
I don't even want to get. Like,
Yeah, but see, that's a
another
different
whole,
subject.
like,
You know what?
that's a
But here's a
whole
different
big
thing. To me, I respect the fact that she's being silent because we got
do I.
everybody
No,
else.
I'm
we
not
got
talking about
everybody
right now. I'm
Oh.
talking about for the last 35 years.
But you know what? I
Where
have
were
a
you?
feeling. Did they even live
But,
together?
right, we don't
I
even know
don't
the real
know.
story.
You know what
She
I'm
could have
saying?
had her
Never
little boo on the
visited.
side.
Very separate
Not drugging people, but
lives.
she could have had her little boo on the
I
side.
have
We
a
don't
feeling
know.
she had a brownstone next door.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it was. But
She's like,
I'm
I'll
just,
raise the kids, and lots of women do it. I'm not saying it's right, but
Lots of women do it. You
It's
are
right
so
for them.
true.
It's not the rape part of it, but if they
sure the
made,
rape part
no,
isn't right?
if they made a decision as a couple to say, hey, we'll be married, but we
Married,
can
but
live
live
separate.
separate
That's
lives.
that people get to make choices
You
about
get
their
to
Oh, yeah,
life.
nothing
You know what I
wrong
mean?
with
But
that.
I'm not saying the condoning of
Why
that
couldn't
shit.
you have just been a whore?
I know.
Because he was a
Why
control
couldn't you have
freak
just
and
fucked
he's
a
an
lot of white
He's a
egomaniac.
women,
whore.
and that was your
Be
big
a control
scandal.
freak.
He's-
You can
he's-
totally be a control. There's so many hoes that would be like, I'll do whatever you say.
Right.
Like, and I'll do like it just whatever.
But listen,
I
he has a
can't.
Well,
problem.
rapists
He
don't-
gets off on things that we can't understand.
Yes,
Right.
of course.
You know what I'm saying? So we can't even try and
Yeah.
analyze it in his
That's
brain.
true.
You know what I
It's
mean?
very true.
So-
But anyway, back to Malcolm X.
Back to Malcolm
You know,
X.
I-
Damn it, Bill! You keep coming up, Bill.
Ruining
Listen,
everything.
every story we talking about Miley Cyrus, Bill Cosby.
I do think a philanthropist will buy it
Buy
and
it.
I think
donate
so,
it
yeah.
and let it do a tour.
Actually,
and
it
all
would
that
be
kind of
great if someone like even a white Bill Gates, you buy it. And
Yeah.
put it
Bill
out
Gates,
there.
yeah.
You know what I
Bill
mean?
Gates
So
would
it doesn't
definitely
have to
do
be
it.
someone black. It just
Yeah.
anyone. This is an important letter, and like I said, the point is if we all valued each other as human beings, that's what I get from that. And that's
Yeah.
a beautiful sentiment because people often forget that Malcolm X wasn't like die whitey die his whole life. He
That's true.
wasn't.
You're right.
He changed his tune.
And this-
And
this
even when he
came-
was, it came from somewhere, y'all.
That's
But this was also
was a
at post his
reaction.
trip to Mecca that changed his life.
Yeah.
Right.
You're right.
But one
this
thing
is
that
post that, correct?
Yeah,
It is post that.
Yeah.
someone said that one of the analysts of the letter said that they didn't think that it should be for sale at all. What do you think about that? That the person that is in possession of it shouldn't even sell
This
it.
is
They should
America and everything's
This
for
is for
sale.
sale.
It's a capitalistic
I believe in
society. I agree.
capitalism.
I think
We all are like, nah, it should be for
I was
sale.
like, nah, it should be on.
I mean, if I had it, I would probably just keep it and like let people come see it. I
Yeah.
probably wouldn't. Well, actually, no, I would sell
No,
it because
you
I
couldn't do
couldn't.
that. You
I
couldn't
would
do that.
I would sell it because I couldn't maintain it the way that it
And I
needed
want
to.
other
you couldn't
people
protect
to.
it.
I couldn't protect
I want
it.
other
Yeah,
people to
that's
hear
true.
this
And I want other
message.
people
Yeah.
to see
And
it.
also, I want to buy a Malibu beach house. Is that
Yeah,
wrong?
listen, I ain't gonna lie to you.
Is
I'd
that
sell
so
it.
wrong?
I'd make sure it was in good hands,
I would like to,
but
like,
I'd
have
sell
it
the
in
shit
my
out of
own
it.
life.
I sell it to the best place it could possibly be. In fact,
Buy one.
How much?
Have you guys been?
Or I'd make a really good copy of it.
Right.
Have you guys been to the Jewish
So,
Museum here?
That's how you would break it. But mess
Has
it up.
anyone haven't been to the
right.
Jewish Museum
I
here
have
in Los
not.
Angeles. It's a great museum because it's an experience. You walk through and it's sets and things, and you're actually walking
cool.
through a set of a building from back then. We do have a slave museum now
Yes.
in the South that the white man created, and I would like to see more of those museums.
I love you said the white man.
I know, like
white
this
man.
Tennessee.
We went back to 1964.
Right.
You said, and the white man.
And the white man
and the
made
white man
that
made
for
it.
ya.
I was like, wait. I was like, what year is this? Wait.
I didn't mean it quite
I was like,
like
we in
that.
Roots
Started with
right now?
Redbone.
Are we in
Started
Roots?
with
No, you know why I
Right.
said it like that? Because, like, come on, black people. I don't have the money to start a museum, but some of you black
Right.
people do.
Yes.
And I would love to see more of these interactive museums like that, and a letter like this, I was
Yes.
going to say, would
Absolutely.
be great in a museum like that.
And I will say this. I have been across this country, and there are small African American museums started by
Starting.
African Americans.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
At,
Trying to hold,
various,
yes.
Go
cities.
support them, people.
Yeah,
go
I go.
support them, because I brought a bunch of friends to the Jewish Museum and who were black, and they left halfway through going in, and I said, you know what? No, because if a group left our museum like this, that's
we
really
have a problem.
Yes, it's important that we know about each other's cultures, and I do think, I mean, Roots was a really long time ago. I know they're doing a
And it's
remake,
coming back.
Right.
and
It's
it's
coming
coming back. I kind of really want to be in that.
I want to be in it too.
Funny, you know what I get told for slave
I've
stuff all
never
the time?
seen Roots.
Dude!
Like ever in life?
Don't
Like not even like a little
read-
bit of it?
You've never seen Roots?
Read the
Not-
book. Read
yeah,
the book.
not
I
the
read the
book.
book.
We're gonna have a
when
Roots
I was
party.
in- Yeah,
We're gonna have a
yeah.
Roots party.
I've
You need
never
to read
seen
the
it. I
book,
know,
but-
and I'm like Mr. Pro Black. I've never.
You know what's funny about when I go in for
No, it's
period
okay.
piece
Okay.
slave
'Cause
stuff? They always say to me, "I don't
I
look."
can't admit what I haven't seen. I won't even say.
Okay.
They tell me I don't look.
What
I
haven't
look
you
too
seen?
contemporary.
Who?
I haven't
What?
seen Selma.
Go see
Oh well, that's
these.
modern.
Go see these movies.
Yeah, but I haven't seen
Plays.
Selma, and I feel terrible about it. It's on my DVR, and I haven't seen it. I feel non-black because
You
I haven't
should
seen
see
Selma.
it.
it's fine.
I
These
criticize
movies are
myself.
good for us to see
Yeah.
and be. And I'm
Let's
glad.
have a movie night, guys.
We
Let's do
Should
it.
we do that?
Maybe
I
we'll do a live movie night.
Live movie
and
night with
review-
our whole
with our whole
reviewing and
reviewing and
reactions.
reactions.
I don't
Yes.
actually think
Text-
they need to
tweet us and let us know
redo.
if we should do
If
that.
you
Do you guys
watch
think
that.
they need to redo Roots? Because it was.
I think
felt like
they
it was
should.
really.
I thought it was
But wait,
great.
isn't this the third remake?
No, that was
You're
Roots, a
talking about
Christmas
Roots Next
Story.
Generation,
Yeah,
or whatever.
Roots, a
Wait, okay,
Christmas-
there's LeVar Burton Roots, and
There
then
was
there's
Roots that first came out
The
in the
Next
70s, and then they
Generation.
had like the following generation that was like another mini series in like the
Yes.
80s.
Yeah.
80s, that's the one
I
I'm
believe.
thinking of, yeah.
So yeah, I think it should be remade only because of this, because these youngins don't want to look at
They don't
nothing
want the
else.
actors they don't know.
And I think that it's just how we continue to disseminate information to the younger.
That's true.
But you know whose
And
fault
it's-
is that? Because
it's
my
our-
mom, it's my
Yeah,
mom
yeah,
and them.
that's the
My
need.
mom and them sat me down.
Your mom and them.
My mom and them sat me down, and we had to like. I didn't have a choice. They were like, "This is my grandfather." I remember when it was getting ready. I was about to turn 18, and he sat me down, and he was like, "Son, let me explain to you why you're going to vote in every election and what I had to go through." And
That's fantastic, but it doesn't exist.
Right.
For most people. For
Big
a lot
Daddy
of, I
did
don't
it.
want to say most. For
Big
a lot
Daddy
of
did it.
people. And I appreciate that, and I wish that was the case for
Yeah.
all of us, but it's just not.
That's
and I
true.
and sometimes if Tyga ain't in it, or so
You said
I know,
Tiger.
but
I
please
did not
don't.
want to see
I'm trying to,
Tiger in a
like,
remake
I'm trying to
of
think
Roots.
of like random.
Put some
Tiger
actors in
No,
this.
Tiger.
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 I was-
Kylie Jenner.
Yeah,
Tiger.
even I know who
Rapper
that is.
Tiger.
Okay,
Now y'all know I'm
and I
almost
don't know.
40. I don't know who that is.
But
You don't know who Tiger is?
I don't know.
I
who
hope
that
it's not just full of like pop stars who can't act. Like let's cast
Well,
it
is
the way
there gonna
we
be a new
did in
story?
the 70s. No, I think they're just
It's
redoing
telling
the
the
actual
story.
remake.
And it's a
story.
remake.
Okay.
But speaking of that, there's the show. What is it? Underground, I think. I don't remember.
Oh, is
what
it
it's
called?
called.
Yeah, Anthony
Oh.
Hemingway show.
Yes, that's
Yes,
starting
he's brilliant. I
on
love
him.
WGN, I
WGN,
believe,
yeah,
like
you're right.
very
Yeah.
soon. So
Yeah.
like start by
Gotcha.
watching that, and
Yeah.
then we have some other stories.
And by
coming
the
up
way,
in the-
slave movies, stop telling me I'm too contemporary looking for a period piece, because the South was littered with girls who looked like me
Absolutely.
back then.
Halle Berry
Littered.
Queen. She
From
won
the-
an Emmy,
From
right?
the second a
Yes.
slave, the first black woman slave, stepped foot, 9 months later,
There
there
was-
were people
there was
running
Rachels
around
running
looking like
around.
us. Maybe not with these highlights, but we
right.
look like
Well,
us.
they may have had him because they was in this.
That's
You
right.
know.
That's right. But it's weird
My
that
hair
the-
changes.
Thomas
colors and stuff.
Jefferson.
Yeah, but it was very odd to be told, no, you look too modern. And I was like, oh, come on.
It's funny that that's happening like now, because like now this is sort of accepted as a modern look, which
Right.
is really funny. Like 'cause
Yeah.
actually it's the
But what's
natural
interesting is like I went from having like in school days, oh, I guess this was maybe good hair in the bubble, and then it was just like bad hair once the straight hair came in, and now it's like it's okay. But you might want to tidy it up. That's what I've been told.
That's funny.
The endless struggle of the black girl in her hair.
And
Yes.
the
And the
natural
natural.
hair. But I look forward to Roots. I think it's a great story.
I
And
do too.
again, read the book. It's a great book. And if you don't have time, get the
a great
audio
book.
book. Which,
It
by
really
the way,
is a
I
good book.
asked him if his book, which mentioned your title of your book.
The Ladies Who Lunch and Love.
So
Go get it.
It sounds amazing by the description, and I
Thank
can't.
you.
I really am looking forward to an audio version as well, because a lot of us are super busy, don't have as much
We're
time
in cars
to read,
for 2 hours
and
in
we're in
Los
cars.
Angeles.
But I just wanted to throw this in. It's a story about women,
Yes.
grown women in New York City,
Women.
which is my hometown, and it's just so lovely to have stories because again, we're going to redo Roots, but a story just about women. Some of them happen to be black. There's a white girl. By the
Right.
way, the white girl character's like, that's the one I want to play, and then I'm like, oh, she's white.
Right, Lauren.
She can.
Yeah.
But it's just a story about women, and they happen to be, some of them happen to be brown, and we
Right.
need more of those stories. So thank you very much for writing that.
You need to hire her.
You just,
I mean,
girl, you just.
I wanted to
You
get
need to
that
hire
in
her.
before we left because I was really
Thank you
excited.
so much.
And
That means because I'm a huge fan of yours, and like,
well,
and so
I wish I'd known more about. Like I just found out about this book when I found out you were going to be on here. So people, say the name again.
Ladies Who Lunch and Love.
That's right. Check it out. Check it
See,
out.
my mother is going to find you
listen,
because she's like, "Well,
So-
you did not talk about the book enough."
Yeah, you didn't talk about it. Like, I'm not letting him leave
That's
without
the
not
truth.
talking
Thank
about
you
it.
so
You're
much.
welcome.
That's very generous and gracious. Thank you so
Please.
much.
but let's not forget about your projects too, Rachel. Now, you just did The Heart of Sharkness,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
and you got Good Grief coming out, Limelight.
That's right.
So
that's
tell everybody
right.
what those
Look it up.
projects are.
Those are some independent movies, which they still make indie movies,
Yes.
by the way.
Listen, they're very
I make
popular.
them.
Yeah, you make
man.
them. So Good Grief is about a bunch of people who get together for a funeral, but it's actually comedy, and it's, again, these things happen in life. So sort of interesting to see a high school group get back together. It's a little Big Chill, but kind of very different. So there's that, and Limelight was a labor of love for a friend, and I just, I love acting, but this is kind of super fun too. Just
Well,
shooting
we'll
the
have you both
breeze.
back, trust
I'm
me.
sure you'll
Like I
like
said, by popular demand, both of you. So,
Thank you.
now, where can fans find you, Rachel,
Oh,
on social media?
I'm at Rachel True on Twitter, and I'd love it if you check out my website, racheltrue.com, because I don't really talk about acting so much as like health-centric stuff.
I went.
Oh,
Check it out, guys.
yay!
It's really good.
There's not tons on there yet, but I basically, I'm a grown-up, and I would love to share some of the secrets I've learned about how to just age naturally and maybe
You're looking good, girl.
hopefully
You're looking
gracefully.
good.
But I have never done anything, and the point is just to feel good in my body. It's not about being thin or this or that. It's simply feel good in your body. That's what I want you to feel, because I do.
I feel that.
And you look good, girl.
And she ain't got no lines. I'm gonna
Right.
offend her.
You look
real
good,
quick.
girl.
No lines.
I'm coated in lines.
No
right now.
lines.
Don't let
that
them
red bone don't
No
crack.
red bone, no crack. That red bone, no crack.
I thought you were like 26, so okay.
This is all compliments and love in this room.
Right.
Nathan, where can fans find you?
I'm Nathan H. Williams across all of social media.
You have all your names
Yeah.
on one platform.
So
Go in.
jealous.
Yeah.
I know.
And
Oh wait,
smart.
True
Smart.
Rachel True on Instagram. Check that out too. 'Cause
Yeah.
I didn't get my name like you did.
Yeah, and then my website is Nathan Hale Will, and that's a play on words. Nathan Hale, I will do it.
You will do it.
NathanHaleWill.com.
And they can get the book anywhere.
You can
Go
to
to
the
his website,
or
because
you
that's
can
where he
get it-
gets paid.
I get the most money. Thank you
Yes.
for
Oh,
remembering.
your
I
website is
remember
better
that.
than Amazon.
Yeah, I
for
get
them.
more.
Okay.
I get more money on my website,
Click
but
from
you can
his
go to
website.
Amazon, Barnes and Noble, wherever.
Okay. And Courtney, where can fans find you?
I'm on Twitter and Instagram as Stewart Starlet because there's like 800,000 people named Courtney Stewart.
And then you just had a project that you just put and
I'm
we're
on
promoting as well.
Kickstarter right now, y'all. About 40 more days. We're raising $20,000 to do a short film about a female dealing with sexual assault. Also, if you guys want to take some pictures, you love your selfies, put your red exclamation point on your hand, take a selfie, and hashtag Day of Reckoning movie. We're really trying to
Tell
raise
us what
some
the red
awareness.
exclamation point
The red
is for.
exclamation point means screaming in silence. We're trying to be the voice for all of those victims out there that are victims of sexual assault who have never come forward. And the point of the film is a woman who decides to come forward in a different kind of way.
And then Janie's got a
Is she
gun
gonna
away?
whoop some ass?
In a different kind of way.
Right.
I like that, a little mystery.
It's a little mystery. It's
Okay.
a little action, and it's a female getting to be a badass, and we don't
Yes!
get that a whole lot.
I
So
love
Right.
I like that.
that's what we're doing.
What's it called
We're
again?
Kickstarter, Day of Reckoning, Day of Reckoning movie on Instagram. You can click there and find out everything you need to know. We're on Facebook and all that good stuff.
And where can we find you?
Yeah, Derrial.
You can just find my voice. No. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook under Derrial Christon. question. I keep it real simple. I'm like Nathan. Everything aligns with just my name.
Because your name Derrial.
Because my name is Derrial. Derrial Christon.
My brother Derrial.
My brother Derrial. No, you can find me on all those social media platforms. Right, exactly.
Oh, shocking. They were free on all platforms. Who'd have thought?
That's right.
There's
Shocking.
no other Derrial in the world?
No, I'm the only one. I'm the only Derrial, all right?
Derrial.
Derrial, all right? You know what I'm saying. All right, you guys, thank you for tuning in to Black Hollywood Live this week. Be sure to also vote for the Buzz Meter question, which is, was Ebony Magazine wrong for the Bill Cosby cover? We clearly had a lot to say about it. As well as, once again, remember to check out Jennifer Lewis on Portraits, because she had a lot to say about it as well. But you guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Bye!
From executives Kevin Undergaro, Derrial Christon, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio. Instagram me @KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in.
Hollywood Redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.